when you asked me if I was getting bored, like if I get bored talking about the pyramids and
Yes.
stuff.
Yeah.
And if I go out, I do end up talking about this stuff a lot.
Yeah.
But it's something I really am passionate about. And like when I bought and sold video games for a living, the like there's a TV show called The Computer Chronicles that used to be on PBS back in it was from like the mid 80s till like the year 2000 or so. Like the last stuff they recovered was the original Xbox and whatnot.
Okay.
And I used to watch it as a kid, but I would watch it. I would a lot of times go play Metroid or play some RPG type of game like Dragon Warrior where I've got to grind a bunch and watch Computer Chronicles at the same time because they would have these really rare. That's the first time I ever heard of a Halcyon, if you know what that is, the video game console, right?
The Halcyon?
Yeah, it was made by RDI, the guy that did Dragon's Lair and Space Ace.
Really? He made his own hardware?
And it flopped
Space
so hard.
Ace? Oh, well, yeah. I mean, those were like games, but you would like go through and it was like set animations and stuff.
It was a laser disc player using the menu feature, using the chapter feature, right? And but the big problem was this still would have done well, but the big problem is that he tried to make it HAL as well. He wanted it to have AI, so it's got this voice recognition crap. And hello, Stuart. It's like talks to you in an old '80s robot voice. And
wait, this is a new thing?
No, this was from '85.
85, it had this voice recognition
stuff?
And
it failed. It failed on the Computer Chronicles Live. It ended up like 12 of these things selling. One of them went to like Merv Griffin, the like famous TV producer guy.
Right.
These things, I saw a Laserdisc player alone. For the unit was a Laserdisc player and then the console that fed off the player. And just the player that was just a stock player, but it was branded with the Halcyon bullcrap on it. And I watched that break 10K untested maybe a decade ago.
A decade ago?
Yeah, these are super
Lord knows
duper
what to go
rare.
for now.
Oh yeah, super duper rare. But anyway, so my point was, when I love something, dude, I don't mind just steeping myself in it.
Yapping about it.
Yeah. The pyramids and stuff. I hear so many different theories, and probably 90% of them are don't have a whole lot that I agree with. But every now and again, there'll be a kernel of truth. Oh man, you get the ones that are.
Yeah.
I think that you're supposed to go inside and meditate and attune yourself to the universe, and everybody's got their own different life experiences. So far be it from me to say this is just stupid, but I'm not. You're gonna have a hard time selling me on that one. It's gonna take some baby steps.
All right. Well, now that we're warmed up here, let me give you a real introduction. So,
all right.
Everyone, this is Dan Richards of D-Dunking, a YouTube channel with over 100,000 subscribers. You've been on Joe Rogan. You were just on the Danny Jones podcast. You've been around, and somehow you're here. Well,
no, thanks, man. I have a lot of respect for your channel, dude. Like, just straight up, when I saw your Metroid video, it's funny to me because these older games, I don't need somebody to explain to me why they're good because I remember this was good. but it seemed the quality of life stuff has definitely gotten a lot better in video games, and so I get it where a lot of this stuff is really clunky. Just the lack of a map in the first Metroid just puts a lot of people off. But the ambiance in that game, it just when you walk into the room and it's got that beep boop boop. I remember as a kid feeling like, man, this is like I'm in a movie. This is so spooky.
You really nailed the little bits there. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about when you walk in one of the hallways where there's the missile door and you yeah.
The
you
soundtrack's feel alone.
Really good.
It is.
You do.
You feel alone, and I love that about the game. But your video, I'd quit watching most younger YouTubers talk about older video games because I just got so sick and tired of it basically being a bitch fest about quality of life stuff, and that was almost always what it is. And I get it. I mean, I do get it. I love when I play Dead Island 2. I absolutely love being able to press 3 buttons and craft some weapon. Where in Diablo 2, I used to have to spend 5 minutes to do the same thing. Right? Put it all in a little cube and press a button.
Yeah.
But your video covered it really well, talking about a lot of the different stuff. I mean, even your last video that I caught was I think it is your last video, the one about Urban Champion. Yeah, and that was great. I mean, you show that and that was how we gamed back in the day, man. You'd find these parts of you couldn't get through without finding that little glitch. So you're just dodge punches for 20 minutes and then back to the regular game.
Oh, it was longer than 20 minutes. When I was first doing it, that was actually the main issue with that game was I was getting getting tired because you'd have to go a full minute and a half per round, and you got to get through like 138. And so like these attempts were taking me over an hour each time. So I really only had like a chance to do one a day.
Oh, wow.
But I want to say, you mentioned, thank you by the way, but you mentioned something earlier about that I didn't know about you, because I knew you were an electrician. I know that now you're like an independent researcher and you do podcasts and you talk about, you know, ancient history and alternative and conventional scientific approaches to that history. But I did not know you bought and sold video games for a living. I learned this just now.
Yeah.
When did this, was this in between being an electrician? Like, when did this happen?
Yeah, this was in 2008. The housing market collapsed.
Really? Yeah. I know the housing market, but really, it collapsed.
So if you work construction, you know, people don't get, even remodels dry up. People can't get those loans against their equity. So you're basically like overnight. We basically lost our jobs, and that's when I switched into doing eBay, and it was very, you know, you end up landing where you know, and I would bought a Nintendo with a whole bunch of games for like $5. This is 2008.
Yeah, you could back then. Back then you could. Yeah.
this stuff I bought Black Box Soccer, Complete in Box, Urban Champion, Wild Gunman, 2 other black box games that were good. And I mean, back then soccer was like $2.20 with the hang tab intact and stuff, and it was $2 a piece. You know, people. But Google Lens ruined all that. But anyway, like I used to have. As we talk here, at some point I'll pull up some images. I've got them on my Facebook. I used to have the North American Sega Master System collection. I had all of it, but like 4 games and 2 manuals.
Almost complete. Wow.
Wait,
you're talking about complete in box.
Yeah, I was missing Sonic, and I was missing Golden Axe Warrior, and I was missing Spider-Man, but I had Buster Douglas. I had the mail order game. I forget the name of it. I had all the Ghouls and Ghosts and all the Monster
the
Boys.
Sega version.
Alex,
and Alex Kidd,
Thank you, Alex Kidd, and the Rampage and all the another those Montezuma's Revenge. That's a weird
little. I've never heard of that one for Master System.
Yeah, it was on the ColecoVision as well. It's worth checking out. Montezuma's Revenge is a weird sort of Metroidvania-esque game before Metroid and Castlevania. So it's fun. It's hard.
So it's got some like. Of those like search and find, and there's like kind of like mechanics to it. Yeah,
you go into a room, like it's a bunch of rooms, and you walk into the room, and there'll be doors, and you'll have to have certain keys and jewels and stuff that you collect. Okay. If you get a sword, like an enemy will run into you, and it'll kill the enemy instead of killing you. It's a half puzzle game, half item collecting game.
So,
but
this is reminding me of. Have you heard of Journey to the Center of the Earth for, I think, Commodore 64?
Yes, but I've never played it.
It's kind of like that, I think. It's sounding like Montezuma's Revenge.
Yeah, I think it is a similar game, but again, I've never played that one. But
yeah.
But yeah, anyway, I sold. I got custody of my son actually with sealed Sega Genesis games mostly. These were before.
You traded the Sega Genesis games for custody.
Best trade ever. Yeah. But it happened. This was before the big boom of the sealed games. Like I had 2 copies of the original Sonic the Hedgehog for the Genesis, and those were. I got $100 a piece for these, and these were they were going for quite a bit.
It was crazy what happened over like COVID times, where like it felt like every retro thing just exploded in price. Games, trading cards, all that stuff. It just got harder and harder.
And especially a lot of it came from, but it was investor money from outside, and so that's where you saw like the sealed market really go up in the VHS and Betamax world. That was really funny because VHS tapes, like traditionally the ones that were worth money were the horror films and stuff from the 80s and 70s that your mom wouldn't let you buy the tape of, and so that was you might get to rent it if you stayed the night with your cool friend's house, but But then all the rich guys show up and they're buying, they got this comic book collector mentality. They come in there and they're like, you know what's really rare is the original release of Goonies still sealed. You can't find it. They were $80 a tape back in 85, 86. So of course nobody bought it and kept it sealed. So that hit like 30 grand. And most of the old school collectors that were like $2,000 is way too much for a tape.
Wait.
They were just throwing their hands in the air.
You're telling me Goonies, when it came out in the 80s on VHS, was $80?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
How? Why?
That's what the price of tapes was. You ever heard of the movie Santa Claus versus the Martians? It's some schlock 60s crap. It was on Mystery Science Theater 3000. It was just junk. And I had a copy of it on Betamax. It was $79.99 retail price.
Wow.
And it was a crap movie, right? It was.
Well, that's crazy to me. I would have guessed that VHS tapes back in the day were like $30 tops.
They got that way, but when they first came out, the movie, Sony had to actually win a lawsuit against a bunch of the movie studios. They wanted to stop the production because people were able to pirate films from TV.
It was super easy with analog, yeah. You could just we had a recorder. We would record movies that were on TV all the time. Try and cut out the commercials, yeah.
Yep. And you had no mass production facilities like you did. By the mid 90s, VHS tapes have been being made for 15, 20 years in huge factories, but they didn't have any in the early days. And so the movie studios felt like they were going to lose everything. It was a long time before Disney. It was probably 6 or 7 years before Disney started putting movies out, and when they did, they were $80 a tape. They were top because Disney
That's
back
crazy. I had no idea.
Yeah,
this is new history for me.
I do ancient history, like you said.
Yeah, ancient history. Yeah, no, it is funny. I know my experience. I was born in the early '90s, and I was born in '92, and so I had dial-up as an experience. We didn't have a computer for a while. I got kind of a little taste, dipping my toe in these things. But I was really a kid in the 2000s, the early 2000s. 'Cause, that's when I feel like, maybe 8 to 15 is when you're a kid. I don't know. Early childhood, you don't remember too much of. I have memories, but I can't say I'm a 90s kid because, there's only so much left. But it's weird thinking back to the 80s. I'd never heard anyone mention the price of VHS tapes. Yeah,
they were extortionately expensive. And, Laserdisc was another big one back then.
That was premium, though, right? I imagine that as being the premium, most expensive thing you could get.
It was even more than that. It was almost a flex. It was a flex because everybody was buying these things to time shift. They called it. I'm going to record the Super Bowl while I'm stuck at work, and then I can watch the Super Bowl when I get home. And it was called time shifting back then. And this was why VHS won out over Beta, was because it could record for longer. And
see, I was always told it was the porn industry.
Yeah, that's
is that not really correct? Is that a myth?
Well, I'll show you how much of a myth it is. Oh no! Here's some Betamax adult films from. they are
amazing.
Beta. They are. Oh, I need to open. But yeah, these are 110% Betamax tapes. I mean, I've got stacks of them.
Do you still have Betamax players? Do you do you watch these?
Not
do
these.
You watch them on a CRT?
Yeah, not these. No, but yeah, I've got the big old. I've got a big old 2.5-foot Magnavox that I watch this stuff on.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, my little recording studio got all kinds of crap down here. On my shelf behind me, if you see on the videos, it's always changing a little bit. But yeah, I had a whole bunch of that stuff. I mean, it's a kind of a bummer because things like the TurboGrafx and the Jaguar, those things I sold. Neo Geo I sold before I should have, but it was. I was in a court battle to get my kid, and that stuff's expensive. So, I remember selling a Wii U and getting a notification from eBay for $350, and I'm sitting there talking to a lawyer. And when I leave, it's man, I lost $200 while I was sitting there talking to this guy, even though I had this great sale. It still doesn't matter. So I had some cool stuff. I sold a lot of it, but still best trade ever. And a lot of these things, like, they're way overpriced. Like, I had Rockin' Cats. I could see why somebody would pay money for Bucky O'Hare. I can't really see why somebody would pay money for Rockin' Cats.
Yeah, it's some people are just, they've got that collector bug and they want to have a complete collection, and they're just, that's what's fun for them, is refreshing everything every day, looking for a good deal. The hunt. They love the hunt. I don't like the hunt. I just, so like, I just will buy what I need when I need it, and I will sell games often after I'm done because they're too expensive for me to realistically hold on to. So I tell myself, it's okay that I'm going to be paying $350 to $400 for Mega Man because I'll just sell it when I'm done, like, playing it. But sometimes I hold on to them, though I get attached. I can't help it. But so you still have a collection, though?
Yeah, it's a lot smaller, but yeah, I've got, like for my Saturn, I've got, I don't have many games, but I've got Panzer Dragoon 2 and Die Hard Arcade. I mean, so if I'm on a desert island, I've got the Panzer, I've got the Saturn pretty much covered.
Do you have the RPG? Did you say Panzer Dragoon?
No.
Okay. That one's expensive.
It is expensive. And I mean, RPGs are fun, but... if I used to joke about it, even back in the '80s. If I wanted to read a Choose Your Own Adventure, I'd get a book. It's like I want to shoot stuff, and I'm way more into the platformers and whatnot, and the adventure games. I still would grind them out, but growing up, have you played the first Dragon Warrior? Have you were actually tried to beat? Okay, then
I've beaten it. I have a video on it.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I thought. Now I think about it,
and 2. I played Dragon Warrior 2 as well.
Much better game.
I've got 3 right here.
Ooh, getting ready to rock the third one, huh?
Yeah, that's coming up. I'm so slow making my videos, so it's probably going to be like another year. But I wish I could say it was soon. The next game I'm playing is actually it was Life Force here, but it was Salamander in Japan, and it's the sequel to Gradius.
Yeah, it's a blast. That's a good
I've got Gradius as well, actually. Right here. Sorry to keep bending over, but
you're fine. Awesome.
I tried this out because I got an arcade stick for my Famicom. I've showed it off a few times, but I'll show you because you probably haven't seen it. Looks like this. It's got that, and it's really fun. I had to stop myself. Like, I love the jingle that happened, like, I'm tone deaf, but...
Dude, I love that you got a Famicom. That was one of the first things I thought was cool. It was like, oh man, he's going as OG on this stuff as he can. That's awesome.
Well, yeah, I liked that there's more variety in the carts versus just the gray carts. I was like, well, they've got a really fun version over here. I've got the EverDrive, like about EverDrives and stuff. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like I've got that to play the North American version if I need to, like for an RPG. I had to play I couldn't play it in Japanese, But for something like a shooter or like Mario, it's totally fine to have the Japanese version. Like, you can get through it. It doesn't matter. And even Mario has English text. So like a lot of these games are still in English.
So it's not hard. Yeah, they definitely learn a lot more English than we do Japanese. That's for sure.
Yeah, they do. It's true. It's like now I do know hiragana and katakana, which are like the 2 baby alphabets that they have. I don't really know how to do kanji. It's just too much.
Yeah, that's how they keep the uneducated and the foreigners from sticking their nose too far and stuff, right? I remember when I was taking Japanese in college, and what they taught us the difference between hiragana and katakana, and I'm like, so wait a minute, you got. Are you telling me your language is so good you can't have a filthy foreigner's word written in it? Teacher's just like, yep, fucking straight up.
Yeah, really, literally, it's like it is kind of cool though to be able to, like, when you're reading those things and you if you still remember the characters, it's probably been a while. You can easily tell if it's a foreign word. Like in Simon's Quest, for example, everyone's talking in katakana because they're all foreigners. And I thought that was like an interesting touch. I probably should have mentioned that in the video, but
that is an interesting touch. I didn't even think of that, but I haven't played Simon's Quest since the 80s.
What'd you think of it then?
It definitely was. It wasn't a spiritual successor to Castlevania, but it was a fun game. This is one of the things that really, like, one of the biggest myths that I see about the old days of gaming is, Oh, E.T. was universally hated. No, man, E.T. was loved. I never met anybody that hated E.T. when I was a kid. Not one person.
Really?
Oh, man, it was Indiana Jones all over again with E.T. You were running around, adventuring, looking for things in a day when most games were arcade. Most games were very on the rails. If you play Indiana Jones on the Atari, it's like it's mind-blowing when you compare it to what else. I mean, you put a grenade on the screen and walk off the screen and come back and it blows a hole into a new area. It's like, oh my god! And it's the same kind of stuff going on with ET. You open up new realms and stuff by figuring things out, as opposed to just jump over barrels, hit things with hammers, shoot the bad guy.
I will say Atari is a bit of a blind spot for me. I started with the Famicom because it's definitely more approachable than an Atari today.
Oh yeah.
But I did have a plug-and-play system. I played Dig Dug as a kid, Galaga, like just old games that were on Atari systems. But I feel like the versions I played were not the 2600 versions because they looked nicer. They looked nicer.
The 2600.
Yeah. I played the Pitfall on 2600 at my buddy's house about a year ago, and I was actually having a pretty good time with it. I'll say that like when you're playing on the actual system, there's no like cheap emulation from the TV games thing, so it feels a lot snappier.
Yeah,
like it just feels better to play. And that's something I noticed when I first got the Famicom was like because I had only played emulators, and when I finally invested in the real systems, it's a difference that you kind of can't explain. Like Zelda always felt too clunky for me because it was just like grid based and it just felt like it took a long time to do anything. And as soon as I started playing on the real system, everything just came alive and lit up. It was instantaneous. It was like magic. So
yeah, I could see that. I played Solomon's Key on an emulator a while back, and it's same kind of thing. It was just like I don't know if you played that one much, but it's hard.
I've played it a little bit. The puzzle game. It's the prequel to Fire and Ice. I feel like Fire and Ice is more popular.
Yeah, it's more popular because it's worth more money. But,
oh, really?
Yeah, it's a more expensive game, but yeah, it's fun, dude. It's like you got a time limit, constantly regenerating enemies, and you got to figure out your little puzzly path. And so yeah, playing that on an emulator, I was the first one where I was just like, this is clunky. I'm half a step behind everything, and this sucks.
Yeah.
But same thing with the CRT. The difference between a CRT and the modern screen. But yeah, I can see why you would stop at the Atari before the Atari. I mean, when you go to the Atari 2600, I could name like 5 games that I would recommend to somebody your age, and even then it would be like Pitfall. You'll enjoy this for 20 minutes.
Kaboom is fun.
Kaboom's fun. There's a couple of games like that. There's I
heard Warlords was fun with multiple players. Yeah.
Warlords is fun. The first Indiana Jones is worth checking out because it is weird to see how an adventure-y puzzle game played in those days. But by and large, when you play a game and you compare it to even the ColecoVision, it's just crap. I mean, the Coleco, when it came out, trying to convince my dad we need another video game system was impossible because it's like the generation thing hadn't happened yet, right? It's like we bought an Atari 5 years ago. What the hell?
Yeah.
But the ColecoVision, man, Donkey Kong looked like Donkey Kong, where the Atari looks like he's built from Legos.
You see, I always notice people who were actually alive during this time, they mention this as a very important thing that I can't really experience because I didn't grow up with arcades. But like all the way up through the end of the 90s, it's like that it feeling and actually looking like the arcade version of a game was like a huge deal. That was the standard, was the arcade experience. Yeah. And so like the closer things got, like by the PlayStation 1 and the Dreamcast, where it was like actually the arcade versions, it's pretty much 1-to-1, and the Neo Geo. There's Neo Geo too,
where
it was like literally, the Saturn. The Saturn had like actual arcade shooters and stuff. But it's just funny because it's something that no one would think about today because arcades are so dead. They kind of don't exist anymore outside of Japan. They're
retro. Like we got some around here, but they're all retro kind of things, right? And it's the I remember going to the arcade here in Spokane, the one that used to be in the bottom of the mall, Bumpers, and in like 2006, 2005, and they had like Soul Calibur, I think it was Soul Calibur 3 set up, and playing on a PlayStation 2 effectively. It was like quite obviously it was just
the PS2.
And I mean it wasn't coming on with the PS2 screen, but we played it on the PS2 all the time, and it was clear that this was identical stuff.
Yeah.
And that's where I remember just shrugging my shoulders, going, "Why would anybody come and pay 50 cents a game to do that when they could just sit at home in their underwear?"
Yeah. Basically. But did you spend a lot of time in arcades when you were younger?
Yeah, when I was younger, in the 80s and early 90s, like Street Fighter 2, that was the one. I was already like Dig Dug and stuff. Video games were a big deal to me as a youngin', but the Street Fighter 2 was the one where I was 16 when that one came out, and I had a job at McDonald's. And
Nice.
I would go there and blow way more money than I should playing against people. And then that wrestling game came out. I forget which one it's called, but it came out about the same time, and it had good big sprites that looked like the dudes on TV.
For the Super Nintendo?
Yeah, no, at the arcade. Royal Rumble.
Oh, at the
that's
arcade. Oh, Royal Rumble. Okay.
Yeah, that one came out, and that one was like, I didn't grow up during the Raw era of wrestling, which is probably the peak, but it was damn close when I was a kid, man. When you had the Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant and $1 Million Man and all those guys.
I was just watching Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant literally 2 nights ago. I got sent it from my partner Sakina. She sent me this video. She somehow knew Hulk Hogan, sort of. Her brother married the sister of Bubba the Love Sponge.
Okay.
And so she was over at his house, at Bubba's house for Thanksgiving, and so was Hulk Hogan. And I've learned about all of the drama that happened between them way later, because I was like, wait, what? Like she's like in a photo next to Hulk Hogan, like at Thanksgiving. I was like, I don't understand. But yeah, I don't know too much about wrestling outside of that. But I know the older stuff. And I grew up during, I think, the Attitude Era.
Yeah.
And so, like, I had friends who were into it, and they had the, like, all the figures, all the action figures. And then I played a little bit of WWF No Mercy on the N64 with my friends because they liked that game a lot. And I know people still like that game.
Yeah,
so.
It's a fun one.
Yeah.
But yeah, Though it was spent a lot of time in arcades, and Mortal Kombat was the same way. I mean, I remember people being like, Street Fighter's a cartoon and Mortal Kombat's real life kind of bullshit.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was, the arcades were funny back then. Like, you'd go to different places, and like I remember if you play Street Fighter too much, there's a pretty cheap setup you can do with a double jab, like double crouching jab, standing throw, like that. You'll if you get right up on the other dude when he's down and you crouch, double jab, and he blocks both as you stand and throw. It's almost impossible for them to get away from, especially if you're playing a fast character like Vega. So a lot of arcades would outlaw this, but then you don't know if you're traveling.
There's like
around.
house rules in the arcades, like you can't do that; it's too cheap.
So if there were places where if you started off your Mortal Kombat game and you were just crouching down as soon as the game started, the dude would over next to you would literally physically push you away. What the fuck's wrong with you, man? Play the
Start a real fight, yeah.
Well, yeah, in arcades, real fights are rare. I mean, that hasn't changed. The gaming world is still made up of the same nerdy type of people. It's just we all come out of the closet nowadays.
Yeah.
Like, I had the Nintendo Fun Club magazine, which was before Nintendo Power, and I remember wanting to order the Zelda shirt, and I'm like 12, thinking to myself, if I wear that to school, I'm going to get my ass kicked every day.
Yeah, no, it seems like it was so much more unpopular back then, and something kind of shifted in like 2010 or so, and suddenly video games were just cool. Everyone did it.
Pokemon, Magic cards, Yu-Gi-Oh, Warhammer, all of that, all of a sudden it became okay to be a nerd. It became even cool to be a nerd.
Yeah,
right?
You're right, even cool. Now people seem to go out of their way to like flex that they do the most nerdy stuff. And it's like, it's weird.
Yeah, I see some of them like online that the Magic world's really bad. I don't know if you mess with that stuff at all, but
well, I played Yu-Gi-Oh. Actually, my channel was originally a Yu-Gi-Oh channel.
Oh.
Back in 2010, 2011, and 2012, I had a Yu-Gi-Oh channel, and all those videos are pretty much gone because I like totally restarted. But yeah, no, I was very into trading card games.
All right, yeah. Yeah, living in Spokane, we had, and being old, I mean, I had Power in my hand. I had the Power 9 from Magic go through my hand a couple of times.
All of them?
Well,
You're talking about those like the really like Black Lotus and
I sold my last Black Lotus in 2004 for $250.
oh
right?
man, what are they going for now? Like
like
30,000?
10 grand, 50 grand, depends on the
condition.
But yeah, the things were way different as far as the people that were involved. I mean, now like there's a guy, Ben Bateman, who's a popular Magic and content creator, and he's got extremely deep pockets. He's always flexing on the different stuff that he buys.
Yeah.
You know, if somebody finds an alpha collection, he buys it from him, and it's like, I mean, I listen to the guy talk about the game itself. It's like he talks about the cards, and it's like, all right, you're cool. But then he talks about the game, and he's like, you should really be using this card. And I'm listening to him go, man, if you were at the table doing this and I was drunk, I'd be making fun of you. I mean, come on, dude. What the hell are you talking about? How do you own that many cards and not know how to use them? It's like going over to your friend's house who's got like 500 guns, and then he's pointing one at your head when he's loaded. It's like, whoa, dude, how does this work?
Yeah, well, you know, it's the same with a lot of collectors for video games. They're shelf collectors. They don't touch the games. They don't play the games. It's like, what are we doing here? You know?
I used to call them Pokemon style because got to catch them all. Or
Yeah,
like you
Pokemon
said, they're
style.
Just hitting the little ticks on the list. I got the manual for that game now. Click. Woo, dopamine.
So you mentioned Zelda was the any. So you had the Atari. Did you did get the ColecoVision?
Not until I was an adult.
Okay.
No, but the Nintendo I got in '86.
Was that your second system?
Yeah, it was. We had Atari 2600. Yeah, it was our second system.
But like, were you in love with Atari, or was it just something that you did for fun? You
I
were in love with Atari.
There was the old advertisement, have you played Atari today? And I remember being like, man, I haven't played Atari today. I need at least 10 minutes in on that machine. Yeah, it was like... I had so many games. Like, before I sold most of my collection off, I probably had 600 Atari games, different titles.
Yeah. And those are games that didn't really increase in price. It feels like you can still get Atari games for pretty dirt cheap.
A lot of them were so heavily mass produced, like the whole, about the New Mexico dump thing, right? Where they dumped a bunch
the ET dump, right?
But it's not just ET, it's Space Invaders and
Oh, really?
Yeah. The thing is that, it's one of the problems that we had a lot of back in those days is that people would just kind of like manufacture things. They made more copies of ET than they did have Ataris in like consoles.
They just kept the line running. Like,
I don't know. We're going to sell more. Just keep making them. But it's like if you've only got 500 people that can play a game, making 1,000 is probably not going to work out so well. And there's Atari games like Space Invaders, Pac-Man, Berserk, Defender, Asteroids. If you get a yard sale, these will never be more than 50 cents until I'm long in the grave, right? There's so many of these. That's not the only landfill that has them in. Let's just put it that way. I'm sure there's some in the Spokane landfills too.
So, how old were you when you got your NES?
The NES, I would have been like 11 or 12 when we got
12? Did you like the Nintendo more or the Atari more?
Way more. The Nintendo.
Oh, okay.
The Nintendo was so much better. Not only were the graphics closer to the arcade, which, like we were saying, is a huge deal, but those adventure games, that was what, like, games like Zelda and Metroid were experiences you could not have at the arcade.
It's true.
And your home consoles like Atari couldn't. Atari, you're playing all these games. They don't have background music and stuff for the most part. There's very little put into the environment. Where both Metroid and Zelda have, Kid Icarus less so, but it's still some there's a feel to it. You know. And I really think that Nintendo was the first console that I owned anyway that could pull that off, make you feel like you were there.
Yeah, like they weren't making these games with the monetization of quarter munching in mind. So like you had a lot more freedom to just make something cool. Yeah. And the Atari was hard to make something cool. Like everyone talks about adventure. That seems to be the most popular sort of reference of an open-ended sort of game. But you like to mention Indiana Jones, so you think that's more fun than adventure?
considerably. Adventure is just a maze game where you just have to find specific items. With Indiana Jones, like you have to go to a certain place, like you have to open certain areas up that you can't find otherwise. So you blow a hole in a cave, you go through there. You have to navigate these different areas and find specific things in the game, whereas that felt different. I guess that's probably the biggest thing. Is an adventure feels very repetitive. Feels like you're going from room after room, going for the difference is this one's a goblet and that one's a key and this one's a sword, but it really doesn't feel much different. Where Indiana Jones did, but even that one, I mean, you compare it to even a clunky adventure type of game like what's that one? Oh, come on, they made two of them. The second one's Zoda's Revenge or something like that. Star Tropics, even one like that.
Star Tropics,
yeah, it's good, but it's not as good as Zelda, in my opinion. But it's still a good game. It was kind of so much better, though, than you're going to get from Indiana Jones. The Atari just didn't have the chops to just keep up. Yeah.
So it feels like, it seems like there was a sweet spot with the NES where it was like you could do enough with the limitations and you could even push. And then there was also like the added tech that you could put in the cartridges to make them do more things. So like, I know I haven't played Castlevania 3 yet, but I know that they had like a lot of extra tech built into that cartridge. Because it seems you've played it, I'm assuming.
Yeah, been a while, but it's a fun one.
Well, I heard it's hard, especially the North American version.
It is.
And it seems more like what I would want, because, you know, I played Simon's Quest, but Castlevania 1 was just amazing to me. And I still play that game probably once every few months, just because it's like you just sit down and it's like, it doesn't take too long. Just why not beat Castlevania? It's so fun.
It is so fun. That one I played a lot out of. Contra was another one in the early days. It wasn't identical to the coin op. It was almost better. It was like in the coin op, when the coin op, if you jump, like your guy's kind of just like stands up and kind of cartwheels in the air, and he's all slow and a huge target. And in this one, he tucks down into a little ball, and it felt even though you had some flicker, it was a lot faster. Now the arcade,
but the graphics were better.
The coin op looks so much better. Yeah, the graphics of the arcade were vastly superior right up until about the Sega Saturn era.
It's right. It kind of doesn't matter if the design's better. You just want to play the more fun game.
Minecraft and Roblox are testaments to this. I joke with my son all the time because I'll walk in and he's playing Minecraft and I'll be like, "Did you get my Nintendo 64 out of storage again?" Because he's 17 and anything I say is going to irritate him, so may as well have fun with it.
Well, it's weird, you know, we've talked about this several times on this show, me and my co-host Jason, but like these forever games didn't really exist when I was a kid. Like Minecraft's been a thing for like 15 years. It's just weird to think like, at this point, I feel like I need to learn how to play Minecraft because I have a son, and he's gonna, you know, when he gets a little older, it might still be a thing. Probably will still be a thing. Roblox, I'll probably ban because it just seems like there's a lot of like, I don't know, nefarious behavior if you've followed any of that.
I followed enough of it that I wouldn't let him play it for about a year and a half at one point.
It's very odd that seems to be the platform for like predators to exist.
It's weird that they don't do anything about, or don't do remotely enough about it. It's like, you know, I mean, that's like, okay, guys, man. I mean, is this the refuge for all the Highland rejects that get to come?
Yeah, for real. Now? I mean, you're just wondering, like, I don't know, maybe it's like a testing ground to find future candidates. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, dude.
So back to the NES, though.
We're both like, oh, shit.
This is something I ask people sometimes, and it doesn't have to be in order, but like, if you have like a 5 to 10 games for the NES. Because that's the retro system I have the most experience with. Like, I have a Super Famicom right here. I play a lot of N64, but like I'm still working my way through the NES. So like Metroid and Zelda have got to be on there, right?
Oh yeah. Those are high on the list. As is Castlevania, Contra.
Yeah, Contra.
Okay, let's think of some other ones. Solomon's Key. I would definitely Desert Island that bad boy. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I was reached out to by someone who was offering to pay me money to make a video about that game.
That's that.
He really wanted to see it, but the problem was I was doing things chronologically, and I accidentally omitted Solomon's Key because I thought that Fire and Ice was the first one or whatever. and I got the dates wrong. But with Urban Champion, that's a 1984 game. I have like that side series now, so I am gonna play Solomon's Gate.
Oh, well, you're
Problem
gonna
is,
find
it's real expensive for Famicom.
it is. Oh man,
weirdly, because I feel like on the NES it's dirt cheap, but on the Famicom it's like I think it was almost $200 complete in box or something.
Oh.
I don't know what's going on with the prices. I know sometimes they didn't print as many over there, but who knows?
Still, wow.
Yeah.
I mean that game's definitely one worth having. Bubble Bobbles. If I had somebody with me to play it, I'd take Bubble Bobble.
Arcade port and like a good one, from what I understand. Yeah, I haven't played it yet.
Burger Time. When you start talking like me being an old dude, the Burger Time is an arcade game that was a lot of. I know by modern standards, you look at it, you're like, what in the actual fucking? This is like surgery. This is like surgery freaking AI or a VR recreation of it. Like I'm just pretending. It's so boring. It looks.
Is that the one where the ingredients fall from the top?
Yeah.
Okay. Burger Time. I'm aware of Burger Time.
Yeah, it's a fun one. It's one that I played a lot. Oh, Jackal. If you have two players again.
Yeah,
that one's fun.
Well, that's a hard game, right? Run and gun shooter with two people. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like one's a helicopter and one's a jeep. I think it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's Nobunaga. I was called Unga Bunga. I was Nobunaga's Ambition. That's a game that, as silly as it is, it's one of those Japanese strategy games, and it's so
I don't think I've heard of this.
It's impossibly hard.
Let me look it up.
Yeah, I've got a copy over there.
Ambition?
Oda Nobunaga's Ambition or something like that. He was the guy who unified Japan during the warlord ages, and it's a strategy game of it, and it's buggy as hell. It's so hard because, like, your character is going to need to live to be like 180 years old in order to win most of the time, which never, of course, doesn't let you happen.
Wow, this was on everything.
Yeah.
This was on DOS. It was on...
It was so much fun.
Yeah.
So much fun.
MSX.
Yep. And they made sequels like Romance of the Three Kingdoms and stuff. If you've heard of that, is like it's a lot of these are the same kind of thing where, and it's, again, the same thing where it was like I have good memories of playing this with friends.
Yeah, I see. There's like different territories and stuff.
Yeah, and then there's ways to abuse, like you have horsemen and riflemen in your little army, so you get to distribute things different ways, and you could. There was a lot of tactical stuff that, for an older game, it was pretty deep. And of course, all three Marios. I mean, it would be remiss to not include them. But Mario 3 especially was so good for its time. But even Mario 2, even though I know it's a ripoff of Doki Doki, it's still so much fun, and
it's amazing. That game is
so
classic.
Fun. Fun.
No, it's so fun. Yeah. Mario 3 is the game that kind of made me reevaluate things and even start playing retro games to begin with. Because my buddy had a Wii, and he had that on the Virtual Console. And I remember like thinking, there's no way it's better than Super Mario World, because just look at it, you know? Super Mario World's so beautiful. And then we played it on his Wii, and like we kept playing it that summer, and like we beat it. And I was just like, I might like this more than Mario World even. Like, I literally loved it so much. Like, all the worlds were so good, and they were short. Like, the levels were short, but each one was, like, packed with secrets and ideas. And it was just like, and the challenge was just right. Like, it wasn't impossible, but it was not an easy game. Maybe if you've played it a million times, it feels easy now. But, like, if you're a new player to Mario 3, I think it feels pretty unforgiving.
It is. It does. It was, for the time too. It felt like technologically like this huge leap. Like,
well, yeah, you could scroll both ways. Yeah, I know that was another chip thing. They had added chips to the cartridge to be able to do that, like different mappers.
The colors, the lack of flicker, the sharpness. It was really, it was quite an upgrade from the earlier games. And I probably would honestly take Life Force. I played that one a lot, when I was younger, and it was kind of Contra in space. It was I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, that's the next main Retro Odyssey game I'm going to be playing is Life Force. It's Salamander in Japan.
Have you played it?
I've tested it out. I'm looking for it.
Well, you're going to love it
because it has such an amazing cartridge. The Japanese version. Let me see. Yeah, I'll show it to you because I think you'll appreciate this. This is what the box art looks like for the Japanese
Hell
release. And it's a little bit different. Like, they rebranded it to be like a force, like you're going inside of a living being.
Mm-hmm.
But this has a translucent cartridge.
Oh, no, that's awesome.
Like, you can see through it.
I love that. That is cool.
Yeah, when I saw this cartridge, that alone, I didn't need to know anything else about the game. I was like, I'm getting that. That's on my list. Like, how do you not play that? Now, I'm very inexperienced with shooters, though, and I know that they're pretty difficult. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to try and 1cc it if I can.
Yeah.
If I can.
Yeah, I used to 1cc Contra all the time, so...
yeah, you
like
seem... I'm like you said you wanted to talk about retro video games. I'm honestly shocked. I mean, you've played a million more games than I have.
Well, I'm old. You know what a Vectrex is, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yep,
One of the coolest looking systems ever.
I had one of those, man, and I loved it. I didn't have one back in the day. I mean, recently, like when I was doing the buying and selling, I hit up one dude who I bought like this kind of stuff here. I had Final Fantasy VII, the Castlevania Symphony of the Night, Super Nintendo stuff. Games. Well, posters and counter standees and stuff.
Yeah.
And this was back when I got, for Castlevania, I got like $150 for the counter standee, and that's probably like $5,000 right now.
They're that much?
Oh, dude.
I had no idea those were that expensive.
Some of that stuff, it depends on the game, but some of that stuff has gotten ridiculous. It's just absolutely ridiculous.
Stuff that people would give away for free.
Well, it was just on a counter. Dude, I had one from Tumba too, and it had like, there was a giveaway thing. It had all these little rip-off little thing and fill out your name and address, and all the little mailer cards were still on it.
Tumba looks fun. Tumba looks like a fun game. Yeah.
It is. It's kind of a throwback at that point because platformers were losing their 2D platformers were losing their edge in the wake of Mario and even the low key ones like Bug. I don't know if you played Bug on the Saturn.
For the Saturn, you know, a buddy of mine's been. So I got this recently. I don't know if you know what this is. A Mister.
No, is it a retro pie-ish type of thing?
Yeah. Well, it's similar. It's an FPGA. I don't know if you know too much about FPGA stuff. It's like, the easiest way to describe it is it's like if a computer chip was a transformer, and instead of emulation having a software layer to kind of make the input-output with your processor work like the machine does, it physically transforms itself into another chip.
Oh, okay.
So like it's... And like you can program it to do that. Each gate array, that's what it's called, can be programmed differently. A lot of people don't understand it, and they think it's just another emulation thing. The difference is you can get the glitches and everything perfect.
Yeah, I follow.
And not everything is perfect yet. Like the Sega Saturn core, for example, is like, it still needs a lot of work, but it's good. And there's like an end game to where there's no way that emulation could match it because it's literally the electricity, the way it's flowing through the circuit. You know? So I'm a fan of that. But that's how I'm going to play Bug, basically. I'm really excited to play Bug, but it looks like impossible. Like my buddy's been playing it, and he's been on the same stage. Like he'll stream it once a week. Mm-hmm. He's been on the same stage for I think a month. Like he can't get past it. The game seems really hard, and you have to be patient.
They had these at Jack in the Box back in the 90s. Just a little wind-up toy. I doubt mine.
Look at that. Yeah. It's Bug.
It is Bug. I'm pretty sure it was Jack in the Box, but yeah.
I'm shocked to be talking about Bug right now, I'll be honest.
Yeah,
Not what I expected.
It was one of those 3D games that wasn't really... I mean, it was 3D, but you couldn't act in a 3D manner. You're still on the rails. Yeah, it's just...
It functions like a 2D game, pretty much. But it reviewed well, actually. I was looking over like the critical reception from back when it came out, and people generally liked Bug.
Yeah.
I think it's pre-Mario 64.
It is. Honestly, the Sega Saturn, like, you know about the Sega Saturn's, like, commercial failure? You've heard of this?
Yeah, so, like, it was too expensive. They rushed to change things last minute after they saw what Sony had announced, from what I understand.
Yep.
And the support just kind of wasn't there. And wasn't it like there was internal drama between Sega of Japan and Sega of North America, like they were fighting?
Yeah, a little bit of that. Probably the biggest nail in the coffin came with they released stuff early, and they didn't favor the markets that the vendors that they'd worked with. So KB, which was back in those days, KB Toy and
KB
Hobby,
Toys?
yeah, was huge.
Yeah.
Walmart and Kmart, Walmart wouldn't carry Sega products at all because of it. Kmart was pretty leery too. KB had a thing where they would put Sega products on the shelf if they had shelf space, and as soon as Nintendo of America found out, they just flooded the fuck out of KB, so they didn't have shelf space for. So, like for example, the original Tomb Raider was released on the Saturn first. It was a Saturn exclusive at first, but you ask most people your age or even younger or even older.
Never known that. Yeah.
PlayStation 1, right? Yeah, that's the game you find it all the time. But Sega Saturn was where it started.
With the PS1.
That's exactly right, but it wasn't. It's crazy how that is. But yeah, the Saturn was really the Saturn's. It breaks my heart because I loved Sega growing up, and the Saturn was the system where it was like they were ahead. You know, Nintendo was still wasn't quite caught up with that. Right? I mean, they were still doing cartridges, and Sega was over here doing discs like Sony was, but it just ultimately didn't matter because just like with the original NES, it's all about third-party support. It's really about what you can have the best hardware in the world, but if you don't have anything to put on it, it's just another box.
And they didn't release a Sonic game.
Well,
I don't know. Yeah, you would have thought that would have been priority number one, right?
I mean, hell, it's half the up here where we had this place called White Elephant that bought Overstock and sold it. So there's a lot of Sega around in like you find it at yard sales and stuff a lot because poorer families would buy it from these Overstock stores. Sonic's CD you find I've probably found that 7 or 8 times at yard sales and asked and then ended up with the console a couple of times. But it is. You see it all over the place, and the Sega CD is one of the most obscure consoles to where it's kind of the men from the boys of collecting. If somebody doesn't know what a Sega CD is, it's like, all right, come back in a year or two.
Well, that's what Snatcher's on, right? The expensive version, isn't it, for the Sega CD?
That's what Snatcher's on. Yeah. Sega CD. I sold a bunch of the games for that. I used to have a bunch, but still my favorite game of all time probably is. Lords of Thunder. Have you ever played that? It's just a shooter game. It's not too complicated, but it's got a heavy metal soundtrack. It was on a Turbo Duo in the Sega CD, a Turbo.
Oh yeah, the Turbo Duo is cool. Well, yeah, it was cool because it came with the CD player on the side, so you could have like really, really good sounding music.
Yeah, and this game was definitely like I use its soundtracks in a lot of my shorts. If you watch my shorts, it's almost always Echo the Dolphin or Lords of Thunder.
Now, Echo the Dolphin. Have you played Mr. Bones?
No, I have not.
Okay, it's the guy who made Echo the Dolphin made a unbelievably crazy game called Mr. Bones, and it's full of like metal and electric guitars, and it's just wacky. And Mr. Bones himself, you'd probably like it based on like the taste you've given me so far. You would probably enjoy Mr. Bones for the Sega Saturn.
I'll have to check it out. Yeah,
but every level's works totally different. It's just kind of like a clusterfuck of a game, really.
Okay, I'll definitely check it out. Yeah, I don't get to play as much as I used to because it's the frustrating part of working for yourself is that you always feel like you got more to do. Yeah. And so it's like you allot some free time for myself, and then it's like, shit, I don't want to sit in front of a TV. I'm going to go have a drink with a friend or something. But when I do sit down and play, usually it's over. I've got a friend with fibromyalgia, and she's almost bedridden. I play like all the modern stuff with her.
That's a tough disease. It is. That's a very tough disease. Yeah.
I've watched it eat at her for like 15 years now too. It's rough, but I go since her healthcare workers won't buy her, can't legally buy her like marijuana stuff. I go to the dispensary for her.
They can't.
No.
In Washington, you would have thought that.
I know.
That's crazy.
It is. But so I do that stuff for her, and we'll sit down and play. And she's into more. She's into games like Dead Island too and stuff. She likes to look for everything and search everything, and then she'll use me because she's not good at button mashing. So she'll be like, "I've searched for all these things. Now I got to fight these bosses. Could you come over and kill them for me?" But like Dead Space, the original Dead Space, man, I love that game so much. It was one of the things I did when I was making money on when I was buying and selling. When Dead Space 3 came out, I had stacks, probably 25 or 30 copies of Dead Space 1 on the 360 just waiting.
Really?
I had my brother text me. He's like, just text me.
So this was like a legitimate business operation for you. You had a bunch of stuff.
Well, when I talked about like sealed games, I had at least a dozen copies of the cardboard box Sonic 3D Blast on the Genesis. I had 4 copies of Phantasy Star for the Master System sealed.
Phantasy Star is a cool series.
Dude, the first Phantasy Star was so amazing. I remember playing Final Fantasy and Phantasy Star like in the same month as a kid and just being like blown away by how much better Phantasy Star looked. Like the combat.
It had the like grid, like 3D stuff that looked sick for the time.
Oh man,
and
for
the colors just
so
popped.
Good.
The colors popped on
the SMS period. Man.
Yeah,
the Master System looked sharp. It was really sad that you only had 88 games. I think is all there was in the U.S. for it. Something pathetic like that.
I want to play. Yeah, I really want to play the Sonic for the Master System, and I really want to play Golvelius. That game seems pretty cool. Yeah,
Golvelius is a really. I used to play that one a lot. Golvelius is a fun one because it's so. It reminds me of Athena on the NES mixed with Zelda. It's like you've got this weird platformery type of thing going on, and then you
Athena's,
get into the.
I tried that game and I thought it was pretty bad.
Oh man, yeah, it is bad. It flickers too much. But there's tricks that we had to learn as kids. Like, man, it's been a long time. But there's these mushrooms in Athena, these little pink mushrooms, I think they are. And you crouch on the first one that you see in the game. I think it's the first one. You just crouch on them as you go past the first handful. And one of the earliest ones, like immediately it maxes out like all your shit. So she's got like a big, huge flame sword and all the armor.
Seriously?
Yeah, so you just like tear through the beginning of that game. And that was kind of what you're expected to do because that game is hard.
Yeah, no, I just kept dying and I was just like... I kind of wanted to play it because she looked cute for the NES. And I was just like, I don't know if I can make a video on this game. I'll have to revisit it and squat on the mushroom.
Yeah, give it a whirl. It's, Golvelius was one. That's one that I watched gain appreciation over the years, and it's like bittersweet because I don't have a copy now, and I'd like to get one. And I mean, it was like $8 for a complete in box copy 10 years ago. Right?
That's the problem with a game gaining appreciation later and being like becoming a hidden gem is that it's just going to skyrocket in price. Like everyone tries to get their hands on it and then resell it, or it sucks.
That part of it, I used to buy and sell a lot, but there's certain parts like scalping. I wasn't doing the amiibo thing. You didn't find me in there buying amiibos and flipping them. It's Pokemon scalpers and stuff. It's like here's the thing. I understand.
The Pokemon scalping is out of control right now.
It's completely out of control.
People are getting in fights, like police getting called. It's insane.
And what I understand, like, okay, I'm selling something I love. My business is doing something I love. This is But it's like you are literally killing these people's childhoods. These kids that want a damn Pokemon card. Not only do they not get one, but they've got to watch grown ass men act like.
Try and empty the entire supply right in front of them.
And fight with each other about it. And it's like, my God, dude. That the one where that couple was picking on this dude that was like, they got in a fist fight at a Walmart, and the dude was using some glitch, and he's like some sweaty neckbeard in his freaking...
Yeah.
And, oh my God! Dude, it's like, come on, just beat the shit out of each other. Just go full bore.
Yeah. It's really, that's really a sign of the times, because it's like a lot of people that are lining up, they're doing it because they have no other way to make money. So like, I do have like the slightest bit, like I wouldn't say sympathy, but I understand why they're doing it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, come on. On the other hand, just come on. Like,
here's a really simple thing. This is why I was buying and selling video games and making so much money at it. Nobody was savvy to it. For the most part, people didn't know. So, like, you could go buy these things for $5 for a Nintendo with 50 games. Nobody cared. Nowadays, they're looking each one up on eBay. They don't have to do that. They just point their phone at it and press a button. That makes it where the trick still is finding the things that people don't know. So, like, when I was doing that stuff for a living, I was buying cassettes 5 years before audio cassettes hit because I knew that this was a ubiquitous thing in the 80s. And so when all the videos...
That's the thing, being ahead of that nostalgia trend. Like, it's a really good skill to have.
Thanks. I think, honestly, it's just looking for the things that people aren't into. That have a market. So, like, if you're going to go race, if you to draw a metaphor with hunting, if you're gonna go hunt every day at the same spot that everybody else goes to hunt, and then you're racing them to get something to eat, why don't you just go somewhere else, you dumbass? I mean, come on, this isn't that complicated. It's one of the funniest things about the collecting thing now to me is it's like people don't seem to get basic stuff. Like the Majora's Mask 3DS console, that was when I laughed my butt off at. This has been a while now, but people were buying 4 of them. I'm going to keep the sealed and get one graded.
Yeah.
You know how much these are going to be? Do you know how much a sealed NES is worth? And it's like, dude, do you know how many of us did not buy 3 systems back then and keep 2 perfectly mint on a shelf?
Yeah.
Why are the
No one did it. That's actually, you know what? I don't think I've ever thought of that. Yeah, like, no one back then was like buying stuff for later to resell. It was not even a thought.
Not for those. We did it with baseball cards and comic books, which is why the baseball cards and comic books from my generation ain't worth shit compared to my dad's generation, because he read his on the toilet and put his baseball cards in the spokes of his bike. I put mine bagged and boarded and put them in little binders, and so if you're lucky, it's $50. It's really simple stuff. It's why, honestly, the next generation, if I was to say what in 10 years is going to be worth having, honestly, it's probably already hot now. Early iPhones and early iPods still sealed, original, those are probably going to be fetching stupid money. But it's the things that people don't expect. I joked around with everybody during those 3DS days because the Soulja Boy system had just been released, if you remember that.
The Soulja game, it was literally just a drop shipped, like, it was like, it didn't even have his branding. It was like just the AliExpress cheap handheld. Yeah, that was so stupid.
Well, I told the guys, and it's borne out. To find you one of those Soulja Boy consoles is a lot harder than it is to find a sealed 3DS with the Majora's Mask stamp on it. And I was telling you, you'd be better off buying those Soulja Boy systems. You're stupid. This is Zelda. Blah blah blah. Okay, but I mean, why is the N-Gage worth more than the freaking PlayStation? Because nobody bought the damn N-Gage. There's a point where this doesn't apply. There's probably not very many 1985 free French fry Monopoly pieces from McDonald's floating around, but I doubt there's enough of a market for that to matter. So there is a point where, supply and demand. But when it comes to video game stuff, man, the demand's pretty high. It could be almost anything, and people will buy it. So
when you sold most of your collection, like, that was, what year was that?
That would have been 2014, 2015.
Were you pretty much done collecting after that point?
Not entirely, but it really took a lot of the fun out of it. I mean, like, I'd spent years accumulating a lot of stuff, and then like I sold that Lords of Thunder game for about $100, and if I wanted to buy a loose disc now, it's like $250, and it's a complete in box is like $5. And it's like, I'm just not. I like the game a lot, but I don't like it that much.
Yeah, you can still play it. You don't have to own it physically. So that's the thing. That's the funny thing about, like, the older systems is, like, on a thumb drive you could have, like, the entirety of, like, the first 5 video game consoles libraries just right there.
Yeah.
But it's the physical thing that just, there's a feeling to it. I can't deny it. I feel it when I hold a lot of this old stuff. I can't even believe it still works.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of magic that's just like, this is amazing. I think that's the thing too. It was more robust back then, even though it was more rudimentary. Like, modern tech, I have modern stuff break all the time on me. Stuff's constantly breaking around me.
Well, this happened in I want to say the 1920s. There was a meeting of a bunch of light bulb manufacturers, and they got together and discussed how they were not going to make their light bulbs as robust anymore because they weren't burning out fast enough. So, I mean, this is, you extrapolate from that as you will.
Is that really the beginning of planned obsolescence? It was
with electronics anyway. I mean, I don't know about with other stuff, but as far as I know, there's still a light bulb burning in a firehouse, I want to say in Boston, and it's like on 10 volts, and it's on a backup supply, so even when power dies, it doesn't go out, so it hasn't been turned off, but it's over 100 years burning.
Still, over 100 years burning.
Well, just like 10 volts, just sitting there, going forever. But just, I mean, they could, the military tires that like Humvees drive on, they run over something and they reinflate like as you drive. But mine don't. And I run over something, I'm fucked. So, but the tire company needs to continue to make money. So
Yeah.
a lot of that stuff gets into the whole publicly traded side of thing. It's why, like with Magic, with their I knew it with the Final Fantasy. Their Final Fantasy set was just
collabs
blowing.
have been kind of weird, like because that was never a thing that Magic
Oh.
had, and then all of a sudden it's like flooded with like just characters from all sorts of franchises. It's weird. Like, didn't they have Lord of the Rings?
Yeah, they had.
Yeah.
They had a
Spider-Man?
SpongeBob.
SpongeBob?
Okay, there is a SpongeBob counterspell that is a foil one that is him doing the little chicken thing you see in the memes and it even has all the lettering raised uppercase and lowercase throughout the text. And it's expensive. And somebody played it on me once, and it was literally the first time in like 20 years that I just like had to get up. It's like, man, we're supposed to be a bunch of damn wizards throwing spells at each other. Could SpongeBob me?
Yeah, you SpongeBob me. Yeah.
What the hell are we doing here?
Yeah. So you still play though?
I do. Not as much
yeah.
as I used to, but I still do play a little bit. I don't play Commander very often because I used to play a lot of competitive Magic, and Commander players are so they're so into group hugs and all this crap. Every time I play with them, I end up ticking them off. So even when I play nice decks, like I play a thematic deck, and it's still, well, you shouldn't be playing cards like that. If you can't. A lot of people don't like counter spells, and in my opinion, if we aren't playing with some sort of, if there's no way to check what you're going to play at all, it just isn't even a fun game. We may as well be playing freaking
Rock, paper,
what's that
scissors.
online? Well, what's that online one? Hearthstone.
Oh, Hearthstone.
When it's your turn, I'll go have a cigarette and come back and see what you've done.
Well, that's the biggest problem with Yu-Gi-Oh, for example, is like it's the turns. Like you can have someone have a 40-minute turn one. I mean, it's unbelievable. Like you can take up the majority of the whole round. It's supposed to be 3 games with. It's supposed to be a best of 3, but like, I mean, I dipped because the quality of the game got really bad. Magic is more robust, though. I think Magic and Pokemon are better designed games.
Yeah.
In general, like I did get into Pokemon for a minute, and it was actually fun. I was really impressed because it was a game that like. It was like everyone had access to the same resources pretty much, and it was about timing, and like and all of the cards had effects that were easy to understand, but you could use them in different ways. I love that kind of thing. Like it's very simple, whereas like Yu-Gi-Oh, it's like a paragraph of text. The more like all these games suffer from like text creep, where like the text just gets longer and longer and longer. You're just sitting there reading what it does. I don't know if Magic suffers from that.
Oh, it suffers from power creep extremely bad. It's text
Power
creep. Power creep is horrible in Magic. This thing that I mess with now is called pre-modern, and it's basically it's from this set to this set, and the last set was like 2004. Oh yeah.
So basically like the golden age of Magic then. Yeah.
And it's made a lot of cards that were $50 go up to a couple hundred, which sucks. But
yeah, it's funny when retro formats pop off. That always happens. Like cards you would never expect because it was printed in one set a long time ago, and like people find a new utility for it, and suddenly it's like skyrocketing.
Oh man, and well, just even like there's the free mana rock, the Mox Diamond, and that was like $400 like 2 years ago. And it's up to like 1,400 now because you can have it in pre-modern, and it's kind of important.
1,400. Magic players are wealthy. You have to have money to play that game.
Most of them are. There's a big push. It's one of the things I think Wizards of the Coast is doing is they're pushing hard to get rid of the reserved list, which is the cards that they won't ever reprint. And there's a big push from the younger players to get rid of it, and I can get that. On the flip side, I've watched. Like in 2008, there's been a lot of games that whenever the economy goes down, if they don't have that blue chip status that Magic cards do, they just kind of, people quit buying them.
Yeah.
And that's, when everybody's tightening their belt, it's the funny thing about publicly traded companies. When everybody starts tightening their belt, your investors are right there with them. So if you have a bad quarter, man, That's what I was getting ready to say about Final Fantasy. It's like after Magic has their Final Fantasy quarter, I knew it's like they're going to be going batshit crazy trying to keep up those numbers because it ain't going to happen.
Yeah.
People were coming out of the woodwork that don't play Magic, that hate Magic, buying
just to buy
cases,
the cards,
just to put them on their shelf sealed. They know it's going to be good because it's Final Fantasy. And well, yeah. Okay. I mean, they are expensive. If you go buy a collector booster of Lord of the Rings or Final Fantasy, you're going to pay about 10 times suggested retail price right now.
That's
and Final
crazy.
Fantasy is like a year old.
It's weird. And I know the One Piece game has even taken off, I think. Like,
I haven't played that one, but...
Yeah, I haven't played it either. I do know about One Piece. I've watched and read a lot of it, but I'm not up to date. It's been like, I've been out of it for like 8 years. I'm kind of waiting until it's done, and then I'll catch up. Because it's been going for, it's got to be the longest running thing since The Simpsons at this point.
Well, yeah, I mean, there was the GameCube One Piece games, so
yeah.
That's how I first heard of it.
Yeah, it started in 1998. How do you not finish a story? And, like, we're coming up on 30 years.
Especially a Japanese story.
Yeah.
Usually it's like 3 seasons, man, and they're done.
Yeah.
No,
Anyway.
A funny story about anime was, I watched Akira when it came out, like it was all the rage in the nerd circles in like 88, 89, 90.
You were into anime too back in the 80s?
I was. And then you go to Hastings, if you had Hastings, the video rental stores. And I was renting anime and stuff because I watched Robotech as a kid, so this was very much along the same lines.
Yeah.
So I was renting a bunch of mecha stuff and whatnot. And one day I rented a movie, and I get home, and it's this school for girls, and there's all these demons, and there's all this weird sex stuff, and there's demons and octopi, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to quit watching anime for a little bit because this was fucked up. And then come to find, like years later, we get, the internet wasn't a thing. I mean, there was an internet, but it was you couldn't. There was no Google. If you wanted to find something, it was so fun. If you wanted to find something back in those days, a lot of times you would just go like, I want to learn about Superman, www.superman.com, and just see what we find. So Wild West days. So anyway, that turned me off from anime for a very long time. Like, all right, I don't know. His animes is like a box of chocolates.
Not what I expected. Yeah. Yeah, you never know what you're going to get. It is kind of true, especially back then. It was true.
Well, they didn't have it labeled. Now you got your hentai sections and your freaking regular anime section.
Yeah, and that it's different. Like if you didn't know, like if there's no Google, how would you even know what that was? Yeah, exactly.
It's not like you could read the box. It's all in, it's all in kanji and hiragana. Not even katakana for us poor freaking white boys.
So when you sold your collection, did you stop playing video games for a while? You still do play sometimes, but like just way less, I'm imagining. You're a busy guy. Yeah,
I play a lot less than I used to. But I still played then. Like the last games that I played, I got custody of my son, which is almost 11 years ago now.
Congrats.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks. Yeah, he's I was beating it sounds like a meme, but I was beating GTA 5 11 years ago, still waiting on number 6.
It's coming out. Yeah, there's been some news about that. I don't know if you've heard.
It's
about the
coming.
physical game thing, how it doesn't have a disc.
Oh, there's just going to be a little code when you buy the game.
Just a code. Yeah, and some retailers have said they're not even going to carry it.
Yeah,
because,
why would you?
Out of protest, because at this point, you're going. It's a mess. Anyway, you're playing GTA 5. Sorry to.
Oh, you're fine. No, the other one that was South Park Stick of Truth was the other one that I was.
Stick of Truth.
That one's which is fun.
The RPG.
It's so funny. I hate those guys, man. When you cut all you don't have to deal with Comedy Central, just the FCC, and they're like, all right, we can push those boys to the limits. But I still play I've got a ColecoVision with about 40 games. I've still got my Atari. I've got my NES. And I've got Super Nintendo, but I rarely ever play it. The Super Nintendo was like that time when Street Fighter 2 came out. Like I was going to the arcades, but I was like 16, 17, 18. There's a lot more life going on than just playing video games.
Yeah.
So the SNES, the Zelda on the SNES is a lot of fun, but I've never even beat it because
Link to the Past. Yeah. So you still play a lot of retro games then?
Yeah, I do still play a lot of retro games.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah. Yes, I know you do. That's awesome too. Yeah. So out of the ones you played, which ones would you say is probably the most surprising of the like a lot of them? I know that you go in with this expectation of it being crap, but
well, not necessarily, not anymore. I think something shifted for me probably around the time I played Zelda. When I was playing through the initial black box games and stuff, like playing through stuff like Excite Bike, it's like I would learn because I'd spend a lot of time with it, more than most people would, because I was just curious if something would click. And you kind of have to learn how to ride the bike over and over again with old games. And like, because modern games, there's conventions and people just expect that things are going to work kind of the same, and they generally do. And it's kind of less exciting because when you kind of figure out how the game really works in an older game, it'll click, and it becomes addictive. Like it's like suddenly it's fun. When I realized that Excite Bike, for example, was all about like parallel lines and lining up your bike with like the thing on the way back, and the overheating and kind of teasing that. And then once you start setting your own goals, like, well, I want to beat all 6 rounds like in one go, it's you start to get a lot better. And you realize, like for me, I realized bouncing on the front tire was always pretty much safe, and you could keep most of your momentum without holding B. And so like you could keep in like, because it was tough. It was a hard game. But when I got to Zelda, because I had tried it a few times before on my 3DS, like the emulated version, I wasn't like, I wanted to like it, but I knew that I kind of didn't. From like, I tried it 3 or 4 times, and I brought this up in that video, but it's like a 5-year-old video at this point. But like when I was playing through it, I want to say about probably by the end of Dungeon 3, I was really vibing with it. And then by the time I was in Dungeon 6, which is really hard, it's the one with all the whiz robes, I realized I was just totally addicted to the game. And it just, the whole thing clicked for me. And every game after Zelda, I've taken a lot more seriously, I'd say, because like that was the best game I played that year, because I play modern games still too, and I couldn't stop thinking about that game. And I didn't expect it because it's you can't even move diagonal. You're going like this, but like the whole game just works so well within the boundaries that it sets up. And then I played Dragon Warrior soon after that. I wouldn't say go in expecting games to be bad. I kind of have no expectation. And I kind of just let it be like what it is, and I'll see what I do or don't like about it. Like Simon's Quest was an example of a game where I was excited to play it because I loved Castlevania 1 so much, and I knew already the stigma that a lot of people didn't like it. So I went in, and I expected, given my history of liking games that people say they don't like, that I was going to like it. But I kind of didn't. I was like, because by the end of the game, I didn't realize part of the issue was it was just way too easy. And you just you just walk through it and it's done. Like you can literally walk past the bosses. They're just, it was like, what's even the point? And I beat it like 4 times too. I got all the endings.
I remember watching your video on that one. I remember the part when you were like, I wanted to like this game, I just don't.
I did, yeah, no. It's funny because everything about the game that's not the game itself is awesome. Like the music is amazing.
The idea of
so
it going
pretty.
Night and day, that's a brilliant, it's a brilliant game mechanic, but yeah,
and
like
the towns, like just the fact that they exist, like you had towns in Zelda 2, but like you could talk to everyone, and like they had more to say. The shops,
I am error.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. I am bug. Yeah, bug and error. Well, I love Zelda 2. That's another game I love. I didn't know how I was going to feel about that one. Have you beat that game?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
That we used to. When I was younger, I would take the NES Advantage, put it on turbo, tape the fire button down, put a book to hold Link in a crouching section where birds would come at you, right? And just sit there and farm XP, walk away.
I've got an NES Advantage myself. It's over that way.
That was a big deal when I was a kid. Again, the arcade feel, right?
Yeah.
And it was like, here's an arcade stick for your home arcade system.
With turbo.
Yeah, with turbo.
And the dial on it feels really nice, too. You can dial it in just right because the games have different like timers for when you can press the buttons.
Yeah.
It's like a really useful tool. My buddy played it to play Dragon Quest, and he did it with turbo. So when he was grinding, he just hold A and just fight. So he just literally just hold his press A to win. It was pretty funny.
Yeah, Dragon Warrior is one that's like a great example of like why I wasn't a huge fan of RPGs back then. It was you got to grind on that game for like 8 hours before you can really do anything. Yeah. It's like you just kill slime and kill slime and kill slime and kill slime before you can even venture past that first cave. Otherwise, you're just going to die.
But Phantasy Star you liked.
I did like Phantasy Star. I did. Yeah. A lot of it was it didn't feel as repetitive with your with the combats and stuff. Even the graphics were a little bit more dynamic, and that has a lot to do with it, I think. No, Dragon Warrior 2 I enjoyed.
Yeah. There's a lot more. You have a party. Yeah, Dragon Warrior 2 I also like more than Dragon Warrior 1. And people probably Dragon Warrior 3 is going to be way better, and that's probably why people don't talk about 2. I just haven't played it yet. So as of now, and my 1 and 2 vision, 2 just looks a lot better. I like it a lot more.
People talk about 4 usually the most, it seems. 3 and 4 is what I usually hear people talk about.
Well, 4 is the one I'm most excited to play, because I know that you have like multiple people you play as, and then they all like link up. That kind of concept seems really, really cool to me.
Yeah, I had 4 back in the day, but I never did get a chance to play it. I got all of them at a yard sale, besides the first one. That first one's easy to get, but I got 2, 3, and 4 at a yard sale with a bunch of role-playing game, like pen and paper role-playing game stuff years ago. I sold anything that wasn't nailed down, don't get me wrong, but video games, stuff that I knew, toys from the 80s, video games, and old electronics, stuff I could fix. That helps a lot too when you can repair.
Oh, true. I didn't think about that. Would you purchase broken video game stuff and clean it and fix it?
Like Sega CDs, just jump in the fuse. I don't replace the fuse. I just bypass the damn thing. It's not going to burn anybody's house down with it. As little power as that thing has, the power pack will blow up first. So I got to where I could bypass the fuse in the Sega CD and the Model 2 unit in probably 20 minutes, man. It's like I just ripped that thing apart. There you go. And yeah, I repaired a CDX once. Same kind of thing. There's always a fuse on those. But way more often, Sega Genesises and original Nintendos with the stupid lockout chip or need the jaws replaced. A lot of that stuff's not very complicated, but sometimes it'll be a little bit worse. And some systems are worth messing with more than others, right? Like I'll put a few minutes into an NES or something, but they're generally not worth enough to make it worth going nuts on. But like like I say, Atari Jaguar, I'll spend a couple days working on one of those.
Yeah, those are expensive. The co-host of this show, Jason, just bought a Jaguar recently.
What do you pay, about 3 or 4, or are they more than that
I think it was maybe around $400. And the guy that sold it to him was really dragging his feet on shipping it. And then when he finally shipped it, he realized he thinks he knows why. It's because there was this horrible snowballing going on with the composites or the AV cables, you know. And but he didn't care about that because S-Video looked perfect. That's all he cared about. So it was like, who cares about this? I mean, it's all about the S-Video. So I could see where the seller would be like, oh crap. Yeah, I know. Like it might have just started doing that because on the page he had it showing working perfectly. So who knows? I don't know. But it's weird. Jaguar's got like what, 30 games? I don't know.
Well, there's a weird thing with the Jaguar, and this is where like it speaks to that weird the psychological thing with gamers. It's like they still make games for the NES, but they're homebrew, not official. Well, the Atari, the Jaguar, you can get a license still for you can make licensed games still. I can go homebrew and then buy the rights and make licensed Jaguar games. So they still make them now. And
some people Atari owned by some really young guy or something?
Yeah, I'm not sure all the details with the Jaguar, but this has been going on for a while. I mean, at least 10 years, 15 years, where they just keep making Jaguar games that are official, even though if you're a retro gamer, that's like these are official as the homebrew for the NES, but they're cranking them out. So I mean the ones on the there's only I want to say 12 or 20 games that were officially released in the US. Is nothing. Zool 2 is the only game worth an actual fuck on that thing that I ever owned.
Yeah, it failed very quickly. Yeah.
It was horrible.
It was horrible. And that's the thing. So people paid top dollar for it now because it was horrible.
It was so bad. And I mean, you know, there's decisions that you see made in the video game where, like, the Dreamcast controllers, like, who was the fucking brilliant genius that saw, you know what would be better than having the cord go towards the console? Let's have it hit me in the belly button on the way.
Oh yeah,
it's
the
like,
placement's so dumb. It was a compromise, I think, for the pack, but you could have still made it work. It could have still just gone over the. Yeah.
Yeah, they could have put the pack load on the other side for crying out loud. This isn't.
Oh, that would have been way better. Yeah.
It was, but yeah, it's like the VMUs. It's not worth a crap anyway. Who cares? Fucking, oh, look at my little digital freaking handheld game. But there's a lot of decisions like that you could look at, just shake your head at. But there's not one thing about the Jaguar. Like, you play Cybermorph and you watch how the background renders like 6 seconds before you're on top of it. And you're just like, guys, how did you think this was going to be good? How did you think anybody was going to enjoy this game? Why did you pack this in with the system so somebody knew they got ripped off the minute they get home? Man. I mean, come on.
It was just, I feel bad because I know there's probably just a few like Atari heads from back in the day that just couldn't let go. And you know they were going to get the Jaguar day one, and then... I mean, you probably knew right away that you just bought a big piece of crap, right? I mean...
There was one thing the Jaguar had going for it, and I've actually found it once at a yard sale like this. At a yard sale once, I found 2 Jaguars with the JagLink cables, 2 copies of Doom, and all the bullshit. And that was, you could play, you could do what the LAN parties we used to do with Halo. You could do it with.
I used
Doom.
to do that. Yeah, with the original Xbox. We had a lot of fun with that back then. That was my first experience with anything like that. Because I didn't have a gaming PC. We had a cheap Gateway. You know, it was terrible. Yeah. Running like Windows 95. All right. Well, I've just noticed that we've been talking for almost an hour and a half. You think maybe we should maybe switch topics?
Yeah, that'd be fine. Yeah, we can.
All right. Well, we'll catch you tomorrow. See you next time.